It's not a show. And they were all like, and then they hid so they could watch. I know what they did. Fortunately, they just got enough out of her range, and I didn't really care.
It's not really
You could also do one.
Yeah.
Here. And I said, what's her name? And they said, Millie. And I said, Millie!
Folks, I really am sorry about the quality of that, but it's the buffering. It's to do with the internet connection. But hopefully Dawn is going to be willing to share the presentation slides with us.
Yes.
And we will upload this to our Facebook page and our website so that you will be able to access the link for that.
There's a lot of other links as well, and they're amazing.
Yeah. If you look on YouTube, once you access the one on the right-hand side of the screen, you will always get accompanying similar features that are available on the right-hand side that you can just click and link to.
But you can actually go onto her website as well and download all the videos or buy them. I don't know whether anybody supports anybody with Lewy body dementia. It's a really complex dementia, and obviously there's a lot of resources on there to support you in doing so, because that is a special dementia. It's different to the rest.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
No, that's fine. So, I love this quote because it really does capture what it is that we do. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So especially with a person with dementia, they will forget the words that you've said, they will forget what you did for them, but they won't forget how you've made them feel, whether that be good or bad. And I think we've all got a lot of power, every single one of us, every morning, to either make somebody's day or break it. And sometimes we do that, you know, with our best interest, really. You know, with the best of intentions, we can really upset someone if we don't know them and their needs. So the basics for success is to be a detective, not a judge. We're not there to judge people, but we do need to be a detective to find out what is wrong, what's causing any distress, not just reach for the pills or dial the doctor. Look, listen, offer and think. Use your approach as a screening tool. What I do actually train my staff in is hand under hand, which teaches us a positive physical approach. So rather than just going over to, you know, support somebody, we need to get an invite to do that. Because what I do read is incident reports that say, you know, all of a sudden, Jeff just punched me. Well, Jeff would not have just punched you for no reason. There will be cause and effect. And that could be that, you know, you startled him. The amygdala, which is in the brain, controls your fight, fright and flight. We're born with it. And it stays with us. So if you startle someone, it's going to be a reaction. It's not because they just think, I want to punch you in the face. It's never the reason. So always use cues. So visual, show, verbal, tell, physical, judge. So match your help to remaining abilities. So it's about just breaking things down. And obviously training, I think, is paramount. But like I say, Teepa Snow's coming back to the UK in September. I don't work for her. I'm not here to advocate, but I can't thank her enough really in what she's done to help me and my team to build more skill and build more knowledge. So check out the website, and I hope it can help you as much as it's helped me. But dementia can be treated with knowledge, with skill building, with commitment, with flexibility, with practice, with support, and without a doubt, without compassion. You can't do it without compassion. So take care of yourself, understand the symptoms and progression, build skill in support and caregiving, build skill in communication and interactions, and understand the condition of brain change. Identify and utilise local resources, that's essential, and set limits for yourself, because you can quite easily burn out, especially if you're supporting somebody on your own without any help. Very difficult to do. So when doing, do with, give simple and short pieces of information, instead of overwhelming someone with a load of words. Offer concrete choices if you want a cup of tea, especially as the disease has progressed, because, you know, if you want tea, coffee, a milkshake, a fruit shoot, it's too much. So ask for help if you need it, and ask the person to try this with you. try this with me, especially with personal care. Break the task down into single steps at a time, so you're not overwhelming people. So that's when you're going to see frustration build and behaviours change. So basically, have a look at Team Snow, look at the videos. If I can be of any more assistance, obviously the training that I deliver breaks it down. But do look on up hand under hand, it's called. Positive physical approach. It really does work. And it means that you're doing with that person and not to. And that's what we all put, it's all written in the care plan, isn't it? Doing with, assisted. Well, you know, how can you evidence that you are actually doing with rather than doing to? Hand under hand.
Can I just say about the hand on the hand as well, since we started using that in work, we had a lady that for as long as I've been there, 5.5 years, has needed full assistance with everything, hasn't she? So we started using this hand on the hand where basically you're linking hands, and supported her with her eating, and she now eats independently. And like, it was just absolutely amazing. We were all crying when we first seen it like that, but it really does work. It is a positive
Can I
approach.
just show what hand under hand is? Mine, it's just a word at the minute, isn't it? So hand under hand is so where you're supporting somebody, especially with oral hygiene. How many people has ever let anybody else brush their teeth? Have you? I have, because I'm weird. So I wanted to know what it felt like. But when someone's coming at you with a toothbrush or a spoon, it's a little bit...
yeah.
But this is what I have the staff doing, just so they know how it feels. With hand under hand, you've reconnected. So Jenny's going to go with my movement. She knows where we're going and when. So with personal care, rather than me just pulling down the pants, which I won't do. But Jenny's going with me, she's doing with, and I'm not doing to. So you can have your toothbrush, but you know, it really does. It just calms the whole situation down. But the only time you get to feel how that is by letting someone brush your teeth or feed you. It sounds a little bit silly, but until you know how that feels, it changes your perception. People that we're working with are extremely vulnerable. So yeah, please do look it up. If you can make it to any one of Team Snow's presentations, I strongly recommend it. So now I'm going to introduce you to somebody that can actually, I've tried to explain dementia and I can't as well as Mr. John Kelly, who's been a friend and an inspiration for many years.
Thank you. You understand all now, do you?
Yeah.
Thank you. How can I follow that? Thank you for clearing one thing up anyway. You're not a little bit pregnant.
To get it out there, John.
Yeah. Someone once told me, when you're making a speech, try and make a funny comment before you start. So here goes. Little Johnny was in the school class at the back of the room, so you can guess what mentality he was with being at the back, but in shooting distance with a chalk, And the teacher said, right, children, lessons on morals of stories. Who's got a moral? And little Johnny shot his hand up, and the teacher thought, oh, I daren't ask that little bugger. Oh no. Yes, Susan. Susan said, she went into the hen hutch, this is her gran, and she picks 12 eggs up, miss. And she goes out, and as she's going out to the hen hutch, she tripped over and broke 6, miss. And the teacher said, well, what's the moral of that story, Jenny? She said, never put all your eggs in one basket, miss. I said, very good. Anybody else? Little Johnny there again. Yes, Sandra. Sandra said, my gran went to the hen hutch as well. And she also got 12 eggs in a basket. But before she got back to the house, 6 had hatched. So what's the moral of that story, Jenny? She says, never count your chickens before they hatch, miss. Very good. So I've got time for one more. So little Johnny, it's only Johnny got his hand up. And she said, oh my God. Anyway, she said, go on, Johnny. And Johnny was sat down like this. He said, when my granddad was in the war, he was in the trenches, miss. And all his mates were dead. And in the corner there's this bottle, this case filled with bottles of whiskey. And he drank a lot, miss. He drank a lot. And all of a sudden he heard a noise, so he popped his head out over the trench and he saw 12 of the enemy coming towards him. So he picks his gun up with 6 bullets in, miss, shoots 6 of them, jumps out of the trench and kills the other 6 with his bare hands, miss. And the teacher said, well, what's the moral of that story, John? I said, never mess about with my granddad when he's had a few. And that's it on the mention. No, I like to start when right back when I was 4.5 years of age, and the first day at school, and it was my gran who dragged me, you know, because I didn't want to go to school. Most kids did, but I didn't want to go to school. Anyway, she threw me in the classroom and I sat down, and I became mates with this person next to me. And throughout all my schooling, we stuck together, this person and I. And he was a right character. But what nobody knew, except for myself, he went through schooling with not being able to read or write properly. And at weekends, when all his mates got together and they laughed and joked about the comics they was reading, well, he used to laugh and joke along with them, hoping that he was reading the comic what they was reading in the same way, because his reading was looking at pictures. He couldn't put the words together. He couldn't read them. And all through his school life, he went through that, and even starting work, incidentally, we both started on the same day in the same workplace. Now, you ask a kid what he wants to do in life when he leaves school. Well, in my days, it was a bus driver, train driver, wagon driver. This fella's dream job was a shop steward. And people would say, shop steward. And the reason why he wanted to be a shop steward was because one of his relations used to tell stories what happened on the shop floor, and he was that interested in it over the years, listened to all these stories. So it sunk into his head, he wanted to be a shop steward. And one day there was a position came as a shop steward because you needed to be voted in by the union's members to be a shop steward. And he put his name down, but when he went home and told his wife said, well, will you be able to do that job? And what he said to her was that, yeah, why? I said, well, you need to be able to read programmes and write letters and different issues. So the following day, I looked at the board and his name had gone off. He rubbed it off because of that issue. And his wife said, if you really, really want to do that job, do something about it. So he went to night school. And cut a very long story short, there's another opening came on a notice board for another shop steward, and this time he put his name down. But by this time, he became a character on the shop floor, because the best way of hiding his embarrassment, he used to call it, was trying to be funny. And he was succeeded at that because he made everybody laugh at work. But when he put his name down, he was so sad. He was excited, thinking that I'm not gonna make it. And to his amazement, he won the election, and he came through as a shop steward. But with his night schooling and his at that moment in time tunnel vision on aiming to do what he couldn't do through schooling, that lad, not only did he become a shop steward, he became a full-time convener. That means that's the highest he could ever go in the workplace, in the union. And I held my hat off to him, I did honestly, because when people talk about obstacles in the way, there's no mountain too high to climb. All you got to do is use your imagination, and this is what this lad did. And at the end of it, not only did he start out not being able to read and write, he ended up with 4 diplomas and 3 awards for what he was doing and and for his achievements. But sadly, he was diagnosed with dementia, and at first it didn't bother him because he didn't know what dementia meant. And after talking to his wife, I'll tell you, me and him were that close, I even went to his wedding. I did, and this is why I know so much about him. Him and his wife talked about it, and when she actually explained to him what it meant, dementia, it finally sunk in, and that was a different person. He became a bubbly, happy, joking person to a person who just locked himself away in the house. It wasn't just in the house, it was in a certain chair, in a certain corner, where people couldn't see him from the outside. And when people used to come round, it didn't matter if it was relations or if it was just friends of his, he'd go upstairs out of the way, because he didn't want people to see his embarrassment, he called it. And I felt sorry for him, because when his specialists recommended him to have a psychiatric, I find that hard to say that way, psychiatric nurse to come round to see him, he nearly fainted with shock. He said, no, no, no. But his wife didn't talk him into it, just spoke about it calmly and just said that it might be good for you. So he let the psychiatric nurse come round. And what his wife was telling me was that he was looking through the window for his car to pull up and for this nurse to get out of the car and for his wife, not him, his wife, to go to the door and drag him in quick so no one would see him. And his wife was saying his 5 cars stopped outside the house but wasn't coming to our house, and he thought them 5 cars were him. And by this time he was sweating, he was shaking and everything. And when the nurse did turn up, it's, what was his words now? He said, quick, let him in, let him in. And his wife said, well, he doesn't matter how fast we do, let him in case someone sees him. He thought if someone saw him, they know what he's come for. They think he's mad. So when he came in, he put the nurse in the bay window on the settee with his head facing back, the back of his head to the front of the house. So if anybody went past, all they see is the back of his head. And he couldn't wait until that first meeting was over with to get him out. So that meeting should have taken about 15 minutes, and it was about 5 minutes before he kicked him out, you know. But it went on for about 6 sessions. And on the 5th session, he said to this lad, there's a meeting in St. Helens and it's relating to people who has memory issues. And that covered the whole scope of it, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's, Lewy bodies or anything. It was just to see the awareness around St. Helens and if people do suffer from memory issues. And again, the nature of the lad said no straight away, but his wife again calmed him down, saying that just go, you know, it's not going to kill you, just go and listen because it might be something that will help you. So he said, okay, he said, I'll go. So they sat in the car park for 5 minutes before he would get out the car. He was that conscious of his, what he's got. And when he went in and went into the room, I'm missing a lot out here because I'll be here all day telling you about it. He found it really hard to open the door. So the person who he met to take him up to the room opened the door for him, and he was saying that his legs was shaking, he was petrified. And there was a woman, because they must have been talking about him, shouted his name out and said, come over here. And her name was, forgot her name now. I'm in the right place, haven't I? Anyway, so he sat down with her, and they were standing up one by one and saying the name to make themselves known around the table who they were. And by the time he got to him, this woman actually calmed him down that much. He stood up and said his name. So in a matter of months, few weeks, he conquered a little bit of his fear. And I don't think he'll mind if I say his name. And I don't think you mind if I invite him in because he's come with me today. Would you mind if I let him in? Would I see him? It's me. And I'm living proof that people with dementia, it doesn't stop you from going on in life and making a path in life for you, and not only you, for others to follow. And if you treat dementia in the way our dementia wants you to treat it, you're going in the fast lane because you're going to reach the ultimate place quicker than what you want to. Or you can take a ride in the slow lane and gather a little bit of enjoyment on the way, and a lot of humour as well. Because I've always said humour and dementia go together really well. Because if you're laughing, you're not feeling sad. And I feel that if you can make a smile on people's faces, rather you're making an idiot of yourself or whatever, as long as them people are smiling, great. And having dementia, it's not an insult to have dementia. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just something was slowing down and packing up slowly. It's like a car. If it runs slow, something's broke down, you repair it. But with dementia, the dementia I've got is vascular dementia. Unfortunately, you can't replace that part. So it's pointless moaning and shouting about it. It's not going to go anywhere. If I moan and shout, it will just deteriorate a lot worse. So you might as well keep your brain active, and if you keep your brain active, you're keeping this away from the final destination. And if that all makes sense to you, I think I've done well. And if it doesn't, tough.
Thank you very much, Steve, for sharing that with us. We do appreciate it. I just want to ask if there are any questions that anybody would like to ask of Dawn and or Steve. Is there anything that you would like to ask? Yes.
Yeah. You know, like, especially these days now, this early onset dementia is becoming more and more popular, obviously because of probably drugs in the society as well. But I have a personal experience of someone who had early onset dementia, who hadn't taken drugs, hadn't been an alcoholic, hadn't done anything like that in their life, and it affected her in her 40s. And at that time in her life, there was no clear, whether things are clearer now and we know it does happen. You know, like nursing homes and places where you can place people once they've got to that stage. Whereas obviously in the future now, the homes that are going to be available for dementia are going to have to cater for an awful lot of younger people. where we necessarily think of the elderly and the older age.
Stigma, that's
Yes.
You know, it's a really
It's
good
not.
question, that, Dawn,
It
isn't
is
it?
a young, it is becoming.
Yeah, it's because of the taboo that's surrounded it for so long. We've always associated with old age, senile dementia,
Yeah.
an older person's illness. But the reason I changed my career, I was in learning disabilities. I was head of service in learning disabilities with my friend's mum going at 56. And I'd never heard of it. I was like, oh. And I was really, really uncomfortable around her in that, but I just didn't know how to be. Because there was no information. The social workers didn't give you any advice. She was in a home where it was, full of older people, and she'd cry at the window all day, and everyone would be sat around in a big circle. And I was just appalled, absolutely appalled. So I did a big study on young onset dementia to find out where the services were for people, because you're dealing with people that's got mortgages, that's got children in school. Whereas now, I think we are a lot better equipped because we've got support groups, like John support groups, the Alzheimer's Society. I still think we need more places for people, rather than just care homes. There is some instances in my area, I don't know what area you're from, but we're getting a little bit better, but I still think we've got a long way to go because there's still a lot of stigma, and a lot of people associate dementia with Alzheimer's. If you ask anybody, 9 out of 10 people will say, oh, Alzheimer's. Well, it's not, and it is becoming more common. People say, yeah, it's because we're living longer. I think the truth is, we don't know why. You could blame it on stress, like, blood pressure, cholesterol.
Did anybody watch do you mind if I jump back to you? I was going to wait till you finish, but what did I say now? Karma. Anybody watch Emmerdale at all? Yeah? No? Good. There's someone said to me, if you was a shop assistant or a shop owner, and someone came in and bought a pint of milk, then went out again, and that same person came back in to buy another pint of milk, how would you tackle that if you knew that person had dementia? The way I'd tackle it is, instead of saying, you've already bought one of them, I'd say, God, that was quick, wasn't it? Do you want another one now? And then hopefully it might lead to, oh, I bought one before, haven't I? Sorry, because it can be embarrassing if you just jump straight in, like, have a little bit of a thought of how you approach things. Because we've got dementia, we've still got feelings.
There's a difference between, no one likes to feel stupid, it's just not an emotion that any of us like.
Well, if someone calls me stupid, I just act it. Well, has anyone else got any questions? And thank you very much. Incidentally, I didn't introduce myself. I'm John Kelly. I'm the chairperson and joint founder of Looking Forward Dementia Support Group, to which these two here were both secretaries of it. But when they knew I was there, they left. Yes, go on, man.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, do you think that, especially with John and yourself, homes are changing?
Yes.
Do you think that we have to look at how homes have been built, how they're furnished, and as we say, our environment is very, very important to us. Do you think that enough changes have been made in those homes that are quite, the building itself is quite dated?
Yeah, I think more changes are needed, to be honest, but I think it's recognised more, whereas if you went back 18 years ago, it wouldn't have even been thought of.
So never rolled me up.
It wouldn't have even been thought of, whereas now we are looking at the environment. We're also looking at, especially when the media sometimes are kind to us and sometimes really unkind. But obviously with medications that have been used predominantly in the past, they used to sing a song, haloperidol, knees and toes, because it was often given out just as, without looking at the environment. It is the environment safe for people to walk around and not get lost?